Good morning, and we are in the next lesson named Evans tries an O level by Colin Dexter. Colin Dexter. Something you can also see the pictures, images, and the characters and summary. For a proper understanding, then we will also go to that. Something related to crime, something those who are in prison, and of course those who are in prison and those who have some some tendency like stealing. We have thief and of course thieves and their crime and their stealing work, and of course some of them have their tendency or attitude or something is from their heredity inherited, something they got it from the parents, some attitude from their parental, or we can take that it is like higher resource like we are taking. So here is a lesson. Evans tries in O level. So here Evans is the protagonist of the story. Evans. So we have to pronounce like Evans or Evans or anything. So Evans we can take, and tries. You can also see that the third person singular. So that this is a simple present tense. So try and tries. So we try and he tries. Evans tries an O level German examination. So you can also write O level German examination. You can complete the title. So German examination, O level. You know what is the meaning O level? O level means German examination. Right? We can take that. That means ordinary certificate in secondary education. Ordinary certificate. What is the meaning of O level examination? You can write. What do you mean? What do you mean O level? So ordinary certificate in secondary education. And underline the word. Underline the name of the character. The protagonist Evans, and write James Roderick Evans. His name is James or J.R. James J. Roderick, or you can write R. Evans. Or James Evans also you can say that, and he is a prisoner. You know what is the meaning prisoner? Underline the PRISONE, or prisoner. Those who are in jail. For is something. And next to the topic, Evans tries in O level. You can also write the sentence. Evans the break. Evans the break. BREAK, break. Something that is his attitude. He was something intelligent, intellectual. The quality he possessed. That's why thrice he also cheated them, and of course broke to jail, and he escaped from jail. This is what we are going to have. Right now you can see that Evans, the someone is in the jail, in the prison. Before you read, should criminals in prison be given the opportunity of learning and education? There is a question, before entering into the lesson.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
I can pause for a minute. Hello, sir, am I audible now? Hear me?
Yes, sir.
Network connection is poor, so that. Okay, sir. So before we can enter into the lesson, we can also get an idea. Something we are asked a question. Should criminals, right? Should criminals in prison be given the opportunity of learning and education? So, what is your understanding? What is your idea? You can also say that. Before the lesson also, or after the lesson also, you can also say that. So based on the convict, right? Based on the convict or the particular prisoner and their case, whatever they have done, that whatever they stole or whatever they committed, whatever they made, whatever the blunder they did. So based on that, we can also give that anyhow. When we talk about humanity, we are also saying that we should give them. They should be given like when we are talking about. Let them also learn. Let them also learn. Let them also learn not only education but also some occasional things, where vocational things, some vocational things we can also take, some related to job oriented, and let them also learn, let them also work in a petrol bank, or too many things we can say. So for their survival and of course for their betterment, and in too many jails, in too many prisons, even in and around, we can also take some opportunities are being provided to the prisoners, right? So likewise here, Evans tries an O level German examination by Colin Dexter. Before starting the lesson, should criminals in prison should be a prisoner? Should criminals in prison be given the opportunity of learning and education? So you can also see a character those who's in the prison, and you can also see a short summary like. So he once wants to take O-level test examination. He wants keen to acquire academic qualification O-level test in German. The governor conceded. The governor accepted to his request arranged with the examination board to hold in the examination in a one set. Something is going to take place. A person means we can take maybe it is like reverend. Reverend, his name was Reverend S. McClary, and we can take who was from Saint Mary Church. So we can it as an invigilator from the university board. We are taking a person. Person means a priest like. You can also take person means a priest like educationist from Saint Mary to Church to be the invigilator, and the exam also they have conducted. And calling texture, you can also see the see our narrators or author's image from BBC News. Then now you can see that, right? Who's locked? We know what is the meaning lock and of course unlock. When we are opening, unlocking, right? Locking, closing, right? We are just catching. And of course here by looking at the image we will also identify someone is locked. Like crime. So before starting the lesson, we have to talk about something crime and criminals, those who are in prison, and of course we can also Tigard, Velu, too many things, even Madurai, even Trichy, Chennai, so many jails we have heard in and around, wherever we got opportunity. So Digar is very famous, right? And of course even in Madurai, even in Trichy also very famous jail prisons we have. So crime and criminals, you can also remember, they are like something slaves in the prison. So opportunities are given to the prisoners for educating themselves. Somewhere to cultivate something cultivate. So to cultivate something or inculcate something among them, we can also provide. So likewise, I think you have also seen the movie Master. Likewise, we can also. Some of them are educating even in jail also. That is something very tough task to do that. Not like taking classes in schools or colleges or any diploma courses. There's something totally we need much more than that. That is not an easy task. So opportunities given to the prisoners for educating themselves. That is also one of the points in the lesson. We are taking that prisoners escaping from the prison. Of course, whenever they, how much they are cruel or cunning, and of course very talented enough and skilled, and they are also escaping and they cheat the authorities and of course escape. And here also a person, our protagonist escaped thrice, and fourth time very cleverly he just escaped. That's why we are also seeing that image. Any possibilities they will also do that, right? Even they are using trainings or anything. With the family members also group of people also they are also and character sketches in the legend. You can also see that James Roderick Evans, a prisoner, our protagonist, secretary of the examination board, a higher official of the examination board, secretary of the examination board from that board. Governor, the governor of HM prison, Oxford. This is a prison. From here, Evans started to write. And secretary of the examination board arranged all those things with the connection, or we can also take understanding the governor, since the governor requested. And Mr. Jackson, a prison officer, senior. We can take Mr. Jackson, a prison officer, senior. Mr. Stevens, a prison officer, junior, to Jackson. Reverend Stout McClary, an invigilator, and who came from Saint Mary Church, right, sir? And he was a person, a priest-like educationist. As an invigilator, he acted. Mr. Carter, a detective superintendent. Mr. Carter, a detective superintendent. Mr. Bell, a detective chief inspector. To minor characters also will come on chief. So primary reading theme also I can also give before starting. That is a very big text, that's why story, so that we need to show our patience and continue responsibility. And theme you can also see the story is about Evans, who was also called Evans a Brick. He got this name because he was quite good at breaking out of prisons. That's why he was known as Evans the Break. They just labeled him. So the story is about Evans. Who is Evans? Who Evans is our protagonist in the story. Evans tries an O-level German examination. So the story is about Evans, who was also called Evans the Break. We are also saying, Alexander the Great, or some names superstar, or something later. Likewise, we are also adding some additional name. Likewise, even Giant Ravi. So too many names we are also giving. So like he wants a break, and he got this name because he was quite good at breaking out of prisons. So that's why thrice he escaped. So that he was also caught in especially for him. However, as Evans was now brought to Oxford prison. So because thrice he escaped from prison. So Oxford is somewhat much more security, so that they also shifted him to Oxford prison. That was very big. So as Evans was now brought to Oxford prison, it was difficult to pull off such stunts. You understand that? Because that had much security, and of course, a wonderful, very talented governor of the prison and higher officials for that. So it was difficult to pull off such stunts in the sense that particular prison he was unable to do that. He would not do. He cannot do that. He could not do that. So Oxford prison had very strict officers and assistants. That's why I already told you. So he was shifted to that particular prison because already he thrice escaped from the jail. That's why he was known as he wants to break. And thus this time he wants decides to take a long way to escape this prison. So he had an extra plan that was intellectual, something that was very clever. So he took his own time, so that only he started his plan as he wanted to get educational qualification. That's why he wanted to complete O-level German examination. This is what his plan, major plan. So that's this time he wants decides to take a long way to escape this prison, escape from this Oxford prison. In this story, we learn about his attempt to break through using a very clever plan. You know what is I mean? Very clever plan. When we have, and he even includes his friends and befriends other people on the way to accomplish his mission. That means he includes. How is it possible? How is it possible from a prison? He included his friends also, and of course he befriends in his end those who he is meeting. He also by his knowledge. That means by his grasping power, maybe his talk or anything. You can take that. He also changed them as his friends. You understand as his friends. So that's why he even includes his friends and befriends other people on the way to accomplish. And you know what is the meaning of accomplish? Completing, taking out his mission, right? Basically, he uses an O-level exam to try and break out, which is why this exam carries importance. Further, we learn about the wit of the criminal. Underline the word. You know what is the meaning? Wit, knowledge, intellectuality, right? We learn about the wit of the criminal and how it helps him escape. Witty expressions also we can take. Some humorous things we are also taking there. Now we can also go through that summary. And the story begins with a criminal named Evans. Evans is already famous for breaking out from many prisons that he is now at Oxford prison. We see that the secretary of the examination board gets a call from HM prison's governor. So before entering into the lesson, you are also given an introduction like you can also get. We see that the secretary of the examination board gets a call from HM prison's governor. He learns that Evans has begun with the night classes in O-level German, evening classes in the O-level German examination, right, sir? Thus, he wishes to get an academic qualification, so that only he just wanted. He intimated that he got permission from, that means consent from the governor, and he started to learn. So they all make the necessary arrangements for the same in the sense for conducting examination when he completed his course. So on inquiry or an inquiry, they learn Evans has no record of violence. It means from the examination board. From the examination board, they started to learn. So here, so they all make the necessary arrangements for the same. On inquiry, they learn Evans has no record of violence. Instead he is rather amusing. You understand that before conducting the from their side, their end, they also verified from the governor about Evans and his violence record, but no record was just in opposite of him, so that he also was given that opportunity. Finally, they decided to host the exam in Evans' room and sent for an initiative from Saint Mary Men's Church. The governor is very vigilant, very vigilant throughout, as he knows what Evans is capable of pulling up, escaping, and of course breaking the prison and escaping from the prison. Thus, the authorities do their best to help Evans excel at the exam. Authorities also. They hire a German tutor for him, German tutor, because he wanted to complete German O-level examination. So he teaches Evans for 6 months, and Evans even befriend him during that time. So he teaches Evans for 6 months, and Evans even befriends him during that grasping power he had. That's why he also made him. The tutor wishes him luck. That means good luck, all the best, but feels that he does not stand a chance to clear the exam. He knew very well, but anyhow, that was the examination day. Of course, whether we will pass or will not pass, that is secondary. After completing the course year, we are appearing in the examination. Like he was also going to appear. The tutor visits and of course understood that, and he does not stand a chance to clear the examination. He will not pass. But anyhow, he completed his course. He can also go on right. However, Evans tells him that he may surprise everybody. That is very important. That means the tutor thought that he might have something, that something he prepared or he will also get passed. But he was going to break. He was going to escape from the prison. That's why he mentioned Evans tells him that he may surprise everybody. That's the day of the exam arrives and his cell is being inspected. Now the officers take away anything that he may use to injure himself or other, or even the we can take that. That means invigilator, and they try to take hat away, but Evans insists, saying it is his lucky charm. So he wore a hat, and of course that was something lucky. He was saying that in that also he hit too many things. So when they were checking and they wanted to remove the hat when during the examination, they tried to take the hat. What is the meaning hat? Away, but he once requested, insists, saying it is his lucky charm. When I have this one, I can also complete my examination and get good marks. Like he was also requested, so that they ignored. Moreover, they also bucked Evans' cell, bucked in the sense, very clearly searched and of course removed all those things, scanned. Evans cell for the governors to listen to everything, and they also fixed the mic for Evans understand. That means whatever is taking place in the particular cell, the governor wanted to get from this place, so that they also fixed everything. They searched the invigilator, and then he reaches his cell to carry out the exam. An officer kept peeping in the cell to make sure everything was right. So some protective measures, you understand, too much. And of course, they fixed the mic, and a very important person, an officer, kept that means peeping into the cell, in the sense that there was a hole right through that. It's like, and he was watching, sitting next to the gate. That means that particular cell's gate, and of course he was watching. Often he was watching what was taking place in the cell. So an officer kept peeping in the cell to make sure everything was all right. The exam executes started without any trouble, and Stephen, the junior assistant, we are taking assistant of Jackson, senior officer. An exam executes without any trouble, and Stephen escorts the invigilator. So Stephen's got a direct call from the governor. Recently, he was recruited, right? And so Stevens received a call from the governor, very important, before the completion of the examination, so that he was asked to escort the invigilator out to the main gate. In Evans' cell, they found. So after sending, so here without the knowledge of Jackson was a senior officer. Without the knowledge of Jackson, Stephen, after the completion of the examination, he just escorted, and of course that particular invigilator McClory, and he also bid him farewell. That means a send off, right? When he returned in Evans' cell, they found, or he found out that the invigilator was lying injured. Then who has been sent? So there was a confusion. Then they went in search of Evans. That means they thought that Evans injured McCleary, that means the invigilator, then escaped from the jail, because inside the jail, injured McCleary was there. So they thought that, and they started to search Evans. They went in search of Evans, but find out that he has escaped from the prison. Moreover, when they do not find invigilator in the hospital, so they also understood McCleary was not proper condition. So the governor asked some detective agents and some, that means two detective officers, and asked them to admit hospital. That means by invigilator admit in the particular hospital, he went somewhere. But when they came to know, the governor came to know, when they do not find the invigilator in the hospital, they go to visitors' residence, and they reach there to find out that it was fraud. Everything was Ivan's backup planning. So finally, the governor puts together the missing pieces of the puzzle and everything, and analyzed, and he learns that the invigilator was Ivan's friend, and he swapped places with them and fooled everyone. You understand that? So here, too many suspense, too many suspicious things, and some twisting activities in the lessons, moments, right? Moments in the lessons. So here they immediately go to the hotel where Evans was staying at, and captured him, and of course, staying and they captured him. The governor becomes happy, thinking his game is over, and sends him to the prison van. However, Evans managed to pull off one last stand as a prison officer, and prison van were also part of his plan. Finally, he becomes a free man, cheated everybody. Listen, conclusion. To sum up, Evans tries an all-level summary. We learn about an interesting clash. between criminals and the law enforcement, and a person's wit can take him very far. Right? So some I hope that you have got some ideas, right? Some ideas related to the level because it is very uh, tough text. We can also see that. That means we are testing one, and we have to follow very cleverly. You don't please don't miss a class. Now you can see the text. Yes, this is your. You can also see the image. And seventh one, Evans rising level, they call in text. Now you can see that, right? Before you read. So criminals in prison be given the opportunity, right? Sir, are you all seeing the text? Are you all seeing the textbook now? Sir, can you see the textbook now? Lessons text.
Yeah, this is.
Okay. Now you can see. Then before you read, should criminals in prison be given the opportunity of learning and education? Then you have to speak. So before I have to ask you these questions, and you should ask. You should also share your opinions. But nowadays we are all in mute. Dramatis personae. You can underline that. Dramatis personae means the character sketch. You can also write that. Personae means you are taking the characters in that particular. Now you can see the Secretary of the Examination Board, the Governor of HM Prison, Oxford, James Evans, a prisoner, Mr. Jackson, a prison officer, Mr. Stevens, a prison officer, the Reverend S. McClary, an invigilator, Mr. Carter, Detective Superintendent, Mr. Bell, Detective Chief Inspector. So now we are starting the lesson. So all precautions have been taken to see it to see to it that the O-level German examination arranged in the prison for Evans does not provide him with any means of escape. You understand that? So the 6 month course was over, and of course the tutor also asked him, something, it was just missing, and he knew very well he will not get passed, and of course he also said something, and he was leaving the campus, the particular prison, that particular campus. So here and that exam day, and before the exam day, and of course for 1 week they also did all those things. So all precautions have been taken to see to it that the O-level German exam, only one fellow chap, and he was a young boy. He was going to write the examination, but they worked a lot. So here all precautions have been taken to see to it that the O-level German examination arranged in the prison for events does not provide them with any means of escape in the sense we should not provide them an opportunity to escape. This is what the governors and of course all the prison officers, authorities, so they also started. And what happened and everything, the way he started to do every clever activities, everything we will see tomorrow. Right, sir?